Hi, it's Andrew here at Bayside. We've been talking about staying in love. And everyone, falling into love is the easy bit, but staying in love is the hard bit. And we were talking about this. What do you do when you reach a crossroads? How can we walk hand in hand when we can't see eye to eye? I pray that this clip really helps you today as a person and also helps you reset the foundation of your marriage. God bless you. This is what I find in life. Without Jesus, differences, they divide our relationships. Without Jesus, differences divide our relationships. But this is the truth, everyone. Without Jesus, as a single, did your life work? No, it didn't. I wasn't a great single. I would lie to myself. I'd put appointments in the calendar that I had no intentions of turning up to. I wasn't a great single. Paul says this in Romans chapter 7. The things I never wanted to do, I always ended up doing them. And the things I wanted to do, I never ended up doing them until Jesus came into my life. Till Jesus comes in. So the difference as a single is Jesus. And the difference, and everyone look at me, the difference as a couple is Jesus. With Jesus, differences deepen our relationships. With Jesus, Isabel and I, we're different. But this is what I found, that the more in our lives, in our marriage, and we get on great, but it gets even better when we focus on Jesus. When we focus on the one, he helps us to become one. But if you're here today and you're thinking at a crossroads, and you've maybe even at this point, you've said the S word, separation, or maybe you've dared to say the D word, divorce. We want to counsel, we want to pastor, you want to implore you today to keep at it. Malachi says this, and this is the Message version, and it's so powerful. God, not you or the government, made marriage. Is that correct? His Spirit inhabits even the smallest details of marriage. And this is what God says. I hate divorce. Now, real careful here, everyone. God has never said it. Bayside will never say it. God does not hate divorcees. God does not hate. But why does God hate divorce? Just read this here. I hate the violent dismembering of the one flesh of marriage. I hate, this is what God says, I hate what divorce does to people. I hate what it does. How it hurts people so bad. And I've never been divorced, but in 25 years of pastoring, I've met enough people who've been through divorce. You know what I find sometimes? People who've been through the pain and the hurt of divorce, it's actually for some worse than a death, the sense of grief. The loss in their lives, and even how to explain it is so, so difficult. God says, so watch yourselves and don't let your guard down. You see, Jesus in Matthew 19 was questioned about this area, why people separate, why they divorce. And actually, at this point, he sort of like brings up God confusion. Can God ever be confused around this area? Possibly. The Pharisees were saying, it's okay to get divorced. It's okay to leave someone. Sure, Moses said it would be okay, but look what Jesus said here in Matthew chapter 19. Jesus replied, Moses permitted divorce only as a concession to your hard hearts. Because you hardened your hearts, but it was not what God had originally intended. This wasn't God's way, people. Let's just try and get an understanding here. He says, God's never developed a hard heart. God's only got a soft heart. And God is a covenant-making God, and he's a covenant-keeping God, and God can't understand why you would ever leave each other, because he's promised that he will never leave you or forsake you, and he knows more about you, sir, and he knows more about you, madam. He knows more about your husband, he knows more about your wife than you do, and yet he's still committed to them. And he goes, I would never leave you. Why would you leave each other?